Hi guys, this is BB Chess Channel. Today we see a game between Cuban chess player, former world champion Jose Raul Capablanca and Walter Penn Shipley from USA. The game was played on simultaneous exhibition in Philadelphia in 1924. Capablanca white, Shipley black. Let's have a look. Capablanca opens with e4, e6, d4 and d5 French defense, knight c3, knight to f6, bishop g5 pinning black's knight, bishop to b4 pinning white's knight, and after b4 you can try to push your pawn to e5 and attack the pinned knight, but then after h6 you might just capture the knight. Then after pawn captures your bishop, f takes on g7 attacking the rook, so rook to g8 and queen to f3. And the position is close to be equal, but black seems to have more difficult game to play. In the game, e takes on d5 and then queen takes on d5. And you could also grab this by your pawn, but then after queen to e2 check, bishop e6 and white is slightly better. After queen takes on d5, Capablanca plays bishop takes on f6. Now you can straight away capture knight on c3 as your queen is no longer d8. So bishop takes knight on c3, b takes c3, g takes on f6 and queen d2. And now we get quite nice game as both players have doubled pawns on line c and line f. Black plays c5 attacking pawn on d4 and maybe Shipley hoped this pawn to be captured, and then after exchange the queens just creating 3 white pawns on line c. So white ignores this and plays knight f3, knight to c6, queen to e3, c takes on d4, c takes on d4 fixing white pawn structure, and bishop d7, bishop d3, queen to a5 check, and king to e2. Castle is not possible anymore, and black castles queenside. Rook to b1 creating an attack on queenside, e5, d takes on e5, knight takes on e5 forking bishop and the knight, so knight is captured, and then queen captures on e5, offering the exchange of queens. So Capablanca accepts, f takes on e5, bishop e4 attacking the b7 pawn twice, and bishop to c6 offering the exchange of bishops. So Capablanca accepts, b takes on c6 opening b-line, rook to b3 with a plan to double up rooks on b-line, and king to c7. And this seems to be a good move as you're getting your king out of possible rook's battery on b-line, but in the same time this allows exchanges of rooks. Rook a to b1 as mentioned, and rook b8. If this wouldn't be played, it's very hard to defend the 7th rank. And looks like you could move your rook from d to g8 attacking the g2 pawn, but then rook to b7 check, king d6, rook to d1 check, king c5 and g3, not allowing black to capture, and now your 2 pawns are under attack and white is better. In the game, after rook b8, Capablanca exchanging the rooks, so rook takes on b8, rook takes, and king takes on b8. And look how it goes. The same amount of pawns, black has 2 pawn islands, and the white's king is closer to the center of the board, and the black king is still on the 8th rank, having 3 pawn islands. So king to d3, and this is a mistake, making this game a bit harder to win. Slightly better was f4, and black shouldn't capture this as your king is still on the 8th rank. If e takes on f4, then king to f3, king c7, king takes pawn, and the game is over. You can defend the pawn, but then after f takes on e5, black takes, king to e3, king to c7, king to e4, king d6, g4, later on h4, and the black king needs to keep an eye on c pawn and the e pawn, and actually the game is over. But after king to d3, Shipley plays king c7, king e4, king to d6, and g4, and this is a second mistake made by Capablanca. and better was, let's say, king to f7. But after g4, king to e6, h4, further expansion, f6, and f4 attacking e-pawn. And this is a third Capablanca's mistake, but the interesting thing is he made 3 mistakes, but white is still winning. And better was, for example, c3, then h5 attacking your pawn, so you just don't want to capture and make a double pawns on h line. So f3, then h takes on g4, f takes on g4, king to f7, king to f5, king to g7, g5, f takes on g5, and h takes on g5. And now you can capture the e-pawn and actually the game is over. But after f4, e takes on f4, king takes on f4, h6, which is inaccuracy as you're cutting off squares for your pawn and your king cannot really move while defending the f-pawn. c3, a6, a3, a5, a4, and king to e7, allowing white king go to f5. So king to f5, c5, and c4, and black has no more moves. In this position, black resigned, as you cannot move your king away from f-pawn. Once you move your king, for example, to f7, then h5, you have to move your king again, so you can go back or go to g7, but then king to e6, you have to move your king again, so you can go back or go to h7. If h7, then king takes on f6, and you can go back to the center of the board, grab the rest, march in, and the game is lost. And if you'd go back, then king to g6, you will have to move your king again, and that's the same plan, the game is over. Or you can go to d6 and allows white king to grab the rest of the pawns, and then the game is over, as all these squares are blocked. So the most exciting thing in this game is that Capablanca made the 3 mistakes but still won the game in a great style, and Shipley didn't find the best way to create any counter-attack. Also, don't forget that this game was played in 1924, so chess engines didn't exist, and that's the best proof that you can win even making the mistakes. Thank you for watching. If you've liked the content of this video, please subscribe my channel and feel free to leave some comments below. Bye now.